بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا، وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. I praise Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. I ask Allah to send countless blessings and salutations on Sayyiduna Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his pure family, his noble companions, and all of those who follow them until the day of judgment. I ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to grant us the sincere intention. And those sincere intentions, among them is that we intend to draw close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by everything we do, whether they are among the statements or the actions or our states of heart. In everything we do, we intend التقرب إلى الله تبارك وتعالى. We intend to draw close to Allah. Never forget that. Everything we're doing, it is about getting a higher status with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our intention should never be getting fame, getting notoriety, getting some worldly gain, getting some likes, some followers. None of that should be our objective. We intend at-taqarrub ila Allah, to draw close in status, in rank with Allah. That's it. That is a main intention of ours. In addition to that, because the more we multiply our good intentions, our sincere intentions, our noble intentions, there is an increase, an abundance of endowments from Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So we intend seeking the thawab from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, thinking and seeking the reward from Allah. Because every time you do a good deed and you have a noble intention, out of the generosity of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, He will reward you. He will reward you if you do it with the right intention. So there is a reward, and we should want that reward, because that reward entails that we earn hasanat. We earn good deeds, and those good deeds are going to be weighed in the scales on the day of judgment, because part of our belief is that there is a life after death. There is Yawm al-Qiyamah. There is a day of judgment. There is going to be weighing of our good and our bad deeds. And we want that our good deeds outweigh our bad deeds, so that we can be winners on the day of judgment. So we seek the reward from Allah. In addition to that, we seek the Ridwan of Allah. We seek the Ridwan of Allah, the pleasure of Allah. And the Ridwan of Allah, the pleasure of Allah, the acceptance from Allah is among the greatest endowments that we would get in Jannah. It is among the greatest endowments that we get in Jannah. It is one of those things where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He accepts, when we recite the name of a companion, or male or female, or all of them, and we say, radiyallahu ta'ala anhum, may Allah accept them, may Allah be pleased with them. That is something we shouldn't just say it as a word. We want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when we say, radiyallahu anna jami'an, may Allah be pleased with all of us. We want that said about us too. We want that we have the Ridwan of Allah. Don't forget it. And ultimately, we want Allah. We want to have ma'rifatullah. We want to have the divine realization that everything in existence that we use as a means is only existing as a means for us because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's divine act of creating. So for us, it is about ultimately Allah. That's it. Never lose that objective. That's what we're doing. So whenever we talk about anything, whenever we do anything, even when we develop states of heart, our spiritual states, all of that, lillahi tabaraka wa ta'ala, is for Allah. Please don't forget that. Don't use the means and forget the objective. The means is to lead us to the objective. We don't talk about anything just for that thing. No, we talk about things. We do things. We develop spiritual states and characteristics for an objective, for an end. And the end is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's it. Don't forget that. Whatever you do, please don't forget that. Write it, write it, write it over and over and over. Drill it in your heart. This is about Allah. It ain't about nothing else. Even though other things may be in front of you, the form, the words I say, things we do, that's a form. What is the reality behind all those forms? Al-Fa'il, the real doer, who Allah. The real doer is Allah. And everything other than Allah is maf'ul, is that thing which is occurring. It is the action that is from Allah's creation. Don't forget that. We all makhluk, and He's al-Khaliq. One of the great Imams of As-Sada al-Ba'alawi, Al-Habib Abdullah bin Hussein bin Tahir, he said, Huwa al-Khaliq, yani Allah. He said, Allah, Huwa al-Khaliq, He's the creator, وَمَا سِوَاهُ مَخْلُوق. And everything other than Him is created. SubhanAllah. That's powerful. It seems simple, we know it, but do we realize it? We know Allah is the creator and everything else is a creation. But do we really realize what that means? That means that everything is in need of Allah and everything returns to Allah. It's about Allah in every moment, every second, every breath, every day, every hour. It's about Allah. That's it. Be with Allah. Even while you're with the creation, be with Allah. Never be with the creation. Never be with the means. never be with anything except that while you're accompanying that thing, you're with Allah. That's what we have to learn. So while we fight racism, we're not fighting racism for anything other than Allah. We're not fighting racism so that we can be in charge and we can become the oppressor. No. We're not trying to expose this group or that group or that group so we can be the group. No. When we enjoying what is right and forbid what is wrong, we do it for Allah. That's it. And that needs to be understood. And we can never have that understanding unless we learn the matters of our religion. It's so important that we learn our religion, al-Islam, in the proper way that it was conveyed from generation to generation to generation to generation to it meets us. I'm going to be honest with you. I've become an angry black man. And I'm serious. I've become an extremely angry black man. Because sometimes we watch things and we see things and we just let them slide like they don't affect, but they do, and we let it go. And then it all boils up one time and it just bursts. You know, we had that saying, pressure bursts pipes. You know, so much, and that's what we're seeing in the world, all around the world, not just in America. People are tired. Tired. I was talking to my wife this morning, and we was talking about why people embrace Islam. And I said, you know why, I'm talking about different, black Americans, we're talking about why people embrace Islam. And one of the things I was speaking about myself, because we were talking about in the time of the Nation of Islam and all these different things and the way African Americans got Islam. And I said to myself, I didn't embrace when I first uttered the Shahada, because let me make some clarifications. Hypertension. Yeah, right, Muti. Glad you have your tea. It's soothe your hypertension. It's going to be a calm session. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. He's a funny guy. SubhanAllah. Bismillah. When I uttered the Shahada, and I make a distinction between, and we should all make this distinction and be humble. Before I say that, let me preface it with something. Remember I mentioned the other day, it was the statement of Mujahid, and many scholars mentioned it. They said, two people don't learn. The arrogant person and the shy person, right? So keep that in mind. Let's not be arrogant and let's not be shy. And part of the arrogance is not to admit you've been misguided or you've been bamboozled, hoodwinked, you know, the saying of our great brother Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz. Sometimes you got to admit that. And black people, when we wake up in Islam, I'm talking about, in Islam, the black Americans, that's what I'm talking about. When we wake up in Islam, we're going to be angry. If we don't remember that this whole thing is about Allah, we're going to be angry. The more you learn, you're going to get angrier and angrier and angrier if you don't control that with a connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Sufism is so important. And the idea of taking Sufism out of Islam, no tasawwuf, with all the stuff we've been through, you better be Sufi or you're going to be angry whenever you wake up. You better have some serious connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, some serious dhikr, some serious fikr, some serious tadabbur, some serious rahmah, some serious ilm, some serious sabr, some serious shukr. You need all those sifat, all of those characteristics. And let me try to go back and translate all that stuff. You need a connection with Allah. You need some patience. You need some forbearance. You need some overlooking. You need some mercy. You need some gratitude. You need some reflection. You need all that. And are you going to get that in learning tasawwuf? Or you're going to be on fire when you learn what has happened to our people, even in the name of Islam. You're going to be on fire. So do all that and work on yourself. You need to work on our hearts because they did a job on us and we ain't woke up yet. I'm saying that to say that because when we have real conversations, we're going to discover that time after time after time after time in Islam, even as Muslims, people been pulling the fast one on us for their agenda. And no one's free of it. That's hard to say. It hurts. Like everybody that come to us, we got to see what's their game. What you up to? That's how you got to feel. That hurts. That's a hurting feeling. You can't trust nobody, but you can trust Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of his rahmah, despite all of the attempts to put us down, to deceive us, to misguide us, to use us, to physically enslave us, to mentally enslave us, to spiritually enslave us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lets us rise all the time. And that we say alhamdulillah. And we should reflect on everything we've been through to realize that Allah keep us going. That's why you find even our brothers from the Wahhabi movement who are now waking up to the oppression of the Arab Saudis and the games they played with them for so many years. And they still got a long way to go because they got to be humble. And that's hard. They got to be humble to realize I've been hoodwinked. And that's going to take time because they paid for your education. They trained you. They, put you up. You was in Mecca. You was in Medina. Man, I'm on the hawk. And then you get back and realize, like, man, y'all fooled us. That hurts. That hurts. And you just can't accept I've been fooled. So you got to it's going to take time. It's going to take time for you to realize that now I got to start all over. Damn, that's how they feel. Seriously. I got to start all over? You mean to tell me I don't even know how to believe properly in God? I got a false, corrupt belief about Allah? My whole deen that I've been doing for the last 10, 15, 20 years is bid'ah in itself, misguided, rejected. That hurts. That hurts. So you expect them to not accept. You just told me, I thought I was on the hawk. I was on the minhaj. I was on the dawah. And you just told me all that stuff is nonsense. The whole Muslim world has rejected that since the time of the Prophet. This is a 200-year innovation. That hurt. And then it hurt us as a whole because we didn't have access to scholarship. So therefore, all the books we got, most of us are Wahhabi by default. Let me type that. I want you to look at that term. Wahhabiyya by default. What does that mean? Seriously. And most of us in the African American community are Wahhabiyya by default. You know, you get your computer or you get your iPhone, there's default settings. Somebody put them there, not you. You got to go in and customize your stuff. By default, is a certain thing set up. What they gave us default Wahhabism. That's what the black man got in America. And very few, and I'm talking about real few, have escaped it. And if you are among those that you didn't get Wahhabism, you got traditional Islam and Aqidah and fiqh and tasawwuf in the right way, with a form, with scholars, with books, with all these connections, you really should say Alhamdulillah, because most of us didn't have that opportunity. Yeah, subhanallah. That's deep. And that's why most of us, when we hear the realities about these deviant movements, and then we say, not again. And that's what I was talking that conversation. I said, if you look at the nation in the time of 1930, 1940, they really didn't have no concept. A man coming from Christianity, believing that God is a white man, some foreigner come tell you, no, the black man's God. You don't know Arabic, you can't read the Quran, you can't read the Sunnah, you don't know all this stuff. But you know the white man got his knee on your neck, and this man is telling you how to get it off. You listen, you think that's Islam, what you gonna do? You're gonna accept. You're tired of being oppressed. And then later, and it get hard. We start talking about these things and say, well, we came into the Sunnah. You came into Wahhabism in a way, and most of the people didn't escape it. Some of our people still today that were followers of Imam Mufti Muhammad, rahimahullah, are Wahhabi by default. He moved, he did some different things, he prepared the future, but a lot of our people, I have a Batamani, my community was following from the nation to Imam Mufti Muhammad to where we at in our studying now. And it's people who fight me tooth and nail because they still on default Wahhabism. Saying we follow the Imam. You're not following the Imam, you're confused. But I understand why. The default game. I understand. We've been victimized big time. I want to tell you some things that go back and look at that video that me and Imam Sulaiman had a discussion. Imam Sulaiman said something in that video was so powerful. And it like hit me like a ton of bricks. He said, in 1958, the Mufti of Syria came to America to have a medical procedure. Right? And he heard about Muslims in America. And he wanted to go see the nation and the leader of the nation and go see them. And he sat with Elijah Muhammad. And I'm saying Elijah Muhammad, and I want you, don't fall into this honorable Elijah Muhammad stuff. Don't waste your time, because it's a waste of time, because you're going to forget the point. Because I believe reason why most people don't say honorable Elijah Muhammad has nothing to do with religion. It has a lot to do with racism. But that's my opinion. That's my thought. And we can argue that all day, but that's irrelevant. Let's just get the point. He wanted to go see him. And they said, oh, they're not real Muslims. He said, I came to do da'wah. If I'm here and I'm not doing da'wah, then what's the point? I want to go see him. Look at the difference. Someone who got Allah in their heart and who wants to work for Allah, they got a difference. And he told him that my people are not ready, but a day will come. And that day came. That was 1958. So that's the Mufti of Syria. In Syria, hey, do me a favor. Garth Bryant, you don't do that. Seriously. Because what you're doing is talking like that. If I send somebody to see you, you're going to call the cops and tell them I'm oppressing you. So don't do that type of stuff. Stop provoking people for stuff you can't handle. Stop that. Seriously. Because if you was confronted with some real drama, you're going to call the police. So stop that stuff out. If you disagree with me because you a default Wahhabi, I got that. Disagree with me. Don't get disrespectful. Because I don't call you a coward, and I know you're a coward, but I don't do that. Stop, bro. Don't do that. You're going to get yourself hurt. Stop. Don't do that. Don't put yourself out there. You're a young boy, and you can't hang in these waters. Stop that stuff, man. You can disagree with me. You can debate. You can do whatever you want. All that tough talk and that garbage you be doing, stop, bro. Give yourself a break. And I'm telling you in public, Garth Bryant, stop that stuff or you get yourself hurt. You can disagree with me. That's no problem. But don't get disrespectful. Don't do that. Stop, bro. And I hate to interrupt that, but this guy, I don't want to see him get himself hurt. He's a young kid, fanatic Wahhabi, and he be talking reckless. And everybody's not like me who going to understand you. Somebody going to hurt you one day for that. Stop, bro. Don't do that. And I'll stop there. Yeah, because I don't want somebody to see him. That's why I'm stopping him. I'm sorry, but this guy, you don't know his bad behaviors, and I don't want him to get hurt. I really don't. You know how we are. You know our people. So you got to sometimes protect people from themselves. I might not say nothing, and something happened to him because he's being disrespectful and somebody take it personal. I'll go on, inshallah. So in 1958, that's what happened. We were studying the other day with some of the teachers, and we were reading a book written by Sheikh Osama Sayyid al-Azhari. He's a famous Azhari scholar today, one of the most famous scholars of Egypt, of Azhar. And he wrote this new book. Which he talked about the major scholars of Azhar in the 15th and 14th centuries. If you give me a second, hold on. This book is written by Sheikh Osama Azhari. It is a 10-volume book talking about all of the great scholars of Azhar in the 15th and 14th century. So we're in the 15th and the 14th century, right? In this book, he talks about in 1960 that a group of top Azhar scholars, he mentioned 4 of them, they came on a mission to help teach the Muslims in America and guide them. This is in 1960. So remember, he said 1958, it was the Mufti of Syria. Syria is Ahl Sunnah. Ash'ari, Maturidi, Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, Hanbali, Sufi. Anyone who studied in Syria, that's the methodology in Syria. It's the same way in Azhar. Azhar, Ash'ari, Maturidi, following one of the 4 schools in fiqh, and people of Tasawwuf, right? They came And they did some stuff in the Washington Post. They talked about their group of scholars coming here to teach. And I was saying to myself, who did they reach? Who was the ones that got in contact with those scholars who had continuous chains, who were the great scholars of Azhar? That was 60 years ago. Most of my teachers are Azhari, real Azhari people, right? Most of them. So Azhar has a certain way, which is the way, in Yemen, in Syria, all around the world, right? Imagine if we would have got that in 1960, or that first wave would have went to Syria and some would have went to Egypt. Do you know we would have stopped Wahhabism in America? We would have been able to have, from 1960 to now, continuous chains of narration from 1960. And if we would have took the curriculums that are done in Syria and the curriculum that is in Azhar and applied it in our masajid with the continuous books, with all of those things, we would have had 2 working on 3 generations of continuous knowledge in all the Islamic sciences with a curriculum. We would have had sheikhs from African American community that would have been scholars by like 2 or 3 generations. Think about that. That's serious when you think about us getting hoodwinked. So now, here we are. I'm Sunni. And there are other Sunni Imams. Ash'ari, Maturidi. And when I say Sunni, that's what I mean. Ash'ari, Maturidi, and Aqidah. In fiqh, Hanafi, Shafi'i, Maliki, Hanbali. And in Tasawwuf, Sufism, following a tariqah, following a spiritual path. That's Ahl Sunnah. That's been Ahl Sunnah since the time of the great Imams in all those fields. And then trace back to the Prophet. That's Ahl Sunnah. That's why when somebody say Ahl Sunnah and they say, I'm not Ash'ari, I'm not Maturidi, or I follow a madhab, but I'm not Sufi, you got part of Ahl Sunnah. You are not traditionally what is known as Ahl Sunnah in this nation. But we had it available for us. But somebody looked at us and said, nah, they're not worthy of it. They're not real Muslims, this, that, that. And it didn't reach us. We didn't get it. And now, today, we would have been the first to have that. And now today, we are still struggling to get out of default Wahhabism, where the rest of the Muslim world know better. And we still struggling with it. We still got people who can't distinguish between true Ahl Sunnah and Wahhabism. And that was a game that was played on us 60 years ago, when all of the places where we could have learned true Islamic knowledge and traditional Islamic knowledge conveyed with an unbroken chain could have came to our communities. That's something that, when you think about it, it gets you angry. I know for me, because right now I'm saying that's 40 years we could have been, and Allah's will is Allah's will, but we just talking about we got to learn from history. 40 years we would have been on the path of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah for 40 years. I'm saying for me. So my whole time would have been, and for many of us who are 50 or 60, they would have been our shuyukh, those who started. So from 1958 or 1960, say they would have got those teachers, they would have set up programs like Imam Sulaiman does. He takes people from America to Al-Azhar to study. They're taking them into Morocco to have studies. Just imagine we would have done that. Somebody after 10 years, 20 years, that would have been up to 1980 when I embraced Islam. After 20 years of studying, they would have been scholars. They would have been scholars of the religion. And they would have been teaching and conveying for another 20 years. That would have been the second generation. And now we had 20 years, we've been working on the third generation of ulama, not just common people, scholars. Think about that. Right? Think about that. That would have been 3 generations of scholars. We missed it. And that's something we should think about, and we should be like, now we got to learn. We got to do it right now. We have to struggle against all these things because now we're here in 2020 and the majority of us don't have the system right. We're still trying to figure out what is proper Islam. I want you to think about that. We're still trying to figure out what is proper Islam. You got people in our community that think proper Islam is that Allah is in heaven, above a throne, sitting, that Allah moves, that Allah got limbs and organs. Wal-iyadu billah. No one in the Muslim world besides the Wahhabis believe that stuff. Nobody. None of the Islamic scholars believe that. Nobody. You don't got to listen to Imam Amin. Go study. No one accepts that. No real scholars of Islam believe those things about Allah. None of real scholars going to take you serious if you say, I don't follow a madhab. I just read Quran and Sunnah. No one will take you serious that you know anything about the religion. No one's going to take you serious talking about, I don't believe in Sufism, it's bid'ah. That's rejected around the whole Islamic world. No one who learned their religion serious will know this person's a beginner. They don't know anything about the religion. They don't know. But that's our condition. You got to do something about it. Solutions. I talk about problems. That's why I say we got to get it about Allah. Because if it's about Allah, when we realize we're mistaken, we can accept it. When we realize we're mistaken, we'll accept it. And then we'll make the change. But if it ain't about Allah and it's about my nafs, when I make a mistake, I'm not going to correct my mistake. Right? I'm arrogant. So I'm going to just go in my arrogance. I'm not going to seek truth. I'm just going to say, no, it's about Allah. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm wrong all the time. Remember I told you when Sheikh Samir said that. Right? He said, I may be right, I may be wrong. I'm wrong all the time. And he wasn't saying that to push it off. We make mistakes. We're human beings. So what I'm saying is, we got to be careful. And the game is still being played. So once we learn what is Islam, so we learn Aqidah, Fiqh, Tasawwuf. Now, deviant groups are playing a bigger game. So now you got Wahhabis who follow Shafi'i madhab, Maliki madhab, Hanafi madhab, but they got corrupt belief. They reject Tasawwuf, and they say, well, see, I'm Shafi'i, or I'm Maliki, or I'm Hanbali, but that's not all. I gave you Ahl Sunnah all 3 ways. So I'm teaching Hanafi fiqh, or Maliki fiqh, or Shafi'i fiqh, or Hanbali fiqh, but I'm teaching deviant Aqidah. It's a game, man. And we got to stop it. That's why we got to learn. I'm talking about solution. But it never stops. But the devil is always trying to deceive. We understand that part. But it comes to us a lot. We the victims of a lot of this stuff as a people. All right, solution. I'm sorry, I keep telling you this is my, man. Because I don't know how much time I got. So I got to spit it out. Because I don't know how much time we got. I don't know if I got another 20 years. So I got to do all I can to wake up my people. I'm trying to educate them too, but you got to wake them up just so they, it would be easy just sit and teach you classes. I wish I could do that. And we're going to do that. But I'm just saying, you won't realizing how important it is to learn if I don't teach you how bad you've been deceived. And that's that kind of concept. If we give you the Islamic sciences, you're not going to appreciate them because you don't realize how bad you need them. Because of all the things that's happening to us in terms of trickiness. So with that in mind, tomorrow morning, please write it down. Because I want to try to work on both ends. Still do what we got to do in waking us up, but we got to learn. We got to educate. One of my student teachers who wants to just teach. You don't want to be known. You don't even really want to come on these internet sessions, but we've talked and I've pushed and I pushed. So on tomorrow, Sunday, every Sunday, he's going to teach from 6 to like 6:45. So before this session, he's going to give an Essentials of Islam class. It's not going to be recorded. It will be given from 6 to 6:45 and it will disappear. Everybody don't want to be famous. Everybody don't want to be on the internet. But we need to teach the knowledge. So he's going to start. And it's open for everybody. He's going to start from the very basics of the deen and then carry you on through and eventually to books. Every Sunday from 6 to 6:45. And I'm going to still teach and do my stuff. But so is the consistent growth in level. We need help. So he's going to do that. So for those, could you put the time across there from 6 to 6:45? Essentials of Islam lessons every Sunday. So write it so you have it, and it's only Sunday. And as we grow, maybe we'll do Saturday and Sunday. But we're going to start with Sunday. So, and it's open family. You don't need to write a bunch of notes. You don't need to memorize a bunch of hadith. We're going to take you from the very beginning and explain to you about this deen in a way that is comprehensive. And he's a very well-trained teacher. Study with the shuyukh, study with me, and just learn. Don't even worry about people. Just learn the lessons. That's it. Don't worry about, some going to know who he is, some not. Don't worry about that. Just learn the lessons. Okay. What I want to get out of this is this session, because it's like a review of what we talked about. Tomorrow, I'm going into Imam Tahawi and the Book of Assistance. So I'm going to be doing it. I might have to do Sunday and Monday in that. 6 a.m. to 6:45 a.m. 6 a.m. to 6:45 a.m. And it starts tomorrow. So you're getting double dose. All of us, whenever we say Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah, put that across the screen. Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Whenever we say Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah, that is the methodology of Muslims. It's in 3 parts. Main primary sciences that we talked about. Al-Aqidah, Al-Fiqh, and At-Tasawwuf. Right? Our main sciences are Al-Aqidah, Al-Fiqh, and At-Tasawwuf. Those sciences are derived from the hadith of Jibril, alayhi salam, when he came to the Prophet. And is a narration of that hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. Right? when Jibril came to the Prophet ﷺ, and he'll talk about this hadith and he'll explain it in more details, he asked the Prophet 3 basic questions. Tell me about Islam, Iman, and Ihsan. Iman, Islam, the practical rules of the religion. Iman, the tenets of faith. Ihsan, excellent spirituality. The scholars distracted from those 3 things. For Iman, the science of Al-Aqidah. For Islam, the science of Al-Fiqh. For Ihsan, the science of Tasawwuf. This is traditionally the way of Ahl-Sunnati wal Jama'ah. And every one of those sciences, they have main well-known scholars. There are main scholars of Aqidah, like Al-Imam Al-Ash'ari and Imam Al-Maturidi. These 2 great Imams who were from the 4th century Hijrah, they are known as Imama Ahl-Sunnati wal Jama'ah, the 2 Imams of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah fil Aqidah, in faith. That is a Sunni Muslim. Ahl-Sunnah is the long for Sunni Muslim. That is a Sunni. In Aqidah, it's Ash'ari or Maturidi. When you say authority, stop even saying that. Why do I say that? Because now the name authority is another cover name for Wahhabi, Salafi, authority. Stop saying that stuff. It does us damage. It doesn't help. So people can cover Wahhabism under the name authority. Stop that. Ahl-Sunnah is well known all around the Muslim world. Ash'ari Maturidi. Stop. Stop adding stuff that's not necessary, that's hurtful. It doesn't help us. You're giving people who are misguiding our people a way to wiggle. Stop wiggling out of it. You're Wahhabi. That's what it is. Stand up. I have a book written by the brother of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. It's called As-Sawa'iq al-Ilahiyya fi Radd ala al-Wahhabiyya. His brother said Wahhabiyya. He didn't say Salafiyya or Athariyya. He said Al-Wahhabiyya. That was his brother, who was a scholar. He knew his brother. He knew what his faith was. And all of the scholars of the time, they said Wahhabiyya. From Sham to Yemen to Egypt to the Far East, everybody knew them as Wahhabiyya. Stop it with the Salafi authority. Knock it off. Wahhabis. Say it what it is. That's not the belief of Ahl-Sunnati wal Jama'ah. We are Ash'ira or Maturidiyya. That's in Aqidah. That represents Al-Iman in the Hadith. They extracted it from that. Islam, they got the science of Al-Fiqh. And the science of Al-Fiqh, the ulama of Ahl-Sunnati wal Jama'ah have accepted out of all the madhahib and all the mujtahidun that have been in the past to our time, there are only 4 madhahib that Ahl-Sunnati wal Jama'ah say are reliable and have reached with unbroken chains of narration. There is Al-Ahnaf, the Hanafi school, the Maliki school, the Shafi'i school, and the Hanbali school. This idea, as I follow all the madhabs, is nonsense. Doesn't no one follow all the madhahib? You ain't that smart. We're just not. We're too junior even to do the work to follow all 4 madhahib. That's a game. To follow one madhab good, I'm telling you, you need a minimum of 20 years of study in the madhab, just with the books and the madhab, in the madhab, and the different opinions and the different evidences and the usul of the madhab, and knowing the scholars of the madhab, and knowing the fatawa in the madhab. That stuff take like 20 years. I ain't talking about just someone who know their fard ayn. I'm talking about to know the madhab. It's 2 different things. Stop. And anyone, and please, 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 I know a lot of our imams and great knowledgeable brothers got money issues. And because they work for institutions They can't talk. I understand that. And I got it. And that's why from our sides, we got to stop being so stingy. We got to let our imams and our scholars be free. We got to pay them. We got to support them. We got to give them money. Because as long as someone else is giving them money, they're not going to be able to tell us the truth. It's going to be watered down all the time. And they're going to make an excuse why they water it down. We can't be sectarian. We got to stop being so stingy for your people. I'm showing you history. We got to stop. We got to help. We got to help them. We got to let them be free. So when they're free, they can talk. You know why I talk the way I talk? Because they can't take my money. They don't pay me. They can just get mad. I'm not on your salary. I'm not under your, you can't say, well, if you don't do what I say, you're not going to get no letter. You're not going to get no knowledge. You can't meet the sheikh. You're not going to get no books. You can't tell me that. I got my own sheikhs and I got my own connection to books. I don't need you. So I don't got to bow my head and listen to you fabricate because I need your money. And we need to make a bunch of imams like that. We do. We need them because we got generations to save. We have to do it. And there are big imams on here, know what I'm talking about. There's sheikhs on right now listening. You know what I'm talking about. But we get lost sometimes. You know exactly what I'm saying. And if you stand up and you start speaking the truth, we can, as a group, we can change the situation of our people. They might not follow me, they might not follow you, but they will follow Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. And that's more important than me or you. They might not follow Imam Amin. They might not follow my shuyukh. They might not follow the Shafi'i school. I'm Ash'ari, Shafi'i, Ba'alawi, Rifa'i. These are the turuq that I learned, right? They might not follow that. They may be Hanafi. They may be Maturidi. They may be Qadri. They may be Shadhili. But they Ahl Sunnah. And that's more important than following me and following you too. They might not be Maliki. They might not follow your sheikh. They might not follow your methodology inside of Ahl Sunnah. But the important thing is that they're Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Allah. I won't get distracted. But if you can read Arabic and see that silly thing that guy just put on the screen, it's laughable. Subhanallah. But I'm not going to get distracted by it. Subhanallah. I'm sorry. This stuff is just too much. We're just all over the place. But so that's Ahl Sunnah in Islam and fiqh. That's Ahl Sunnah and fiqh. So one of the four madhab, that's Ahl Sunnah. That's Sunni Muslims. And we follow a madhab, not mixing them, not joining them. There is such things as strict rulings and dispensations, but that's a whole other subject. I'm talking about you must follow a madhab. If you're not a mujtahid, you are a muqallid. If you're not a scholar qualified to do Islamic legal reasoning with its conditions met, you're not qualified to follow other than one madhab. And you are a muqallid. You are a follower of a mujtahid. And most of us are muqallidun. Most of us. Even our scholars that we say scholars are muqallidun. They're not mujtahidun. There's a big difference. And there are shurut al-ijtihad. There are conditions to be able to do that. So we just got to keep it real. Your sheikh is nice, mashallah, you love him. He's not a mujtahid. He needs to follow just like you. But he may know more than you, and you should follow him and obey him in what is right. But don't put him above his rank. Because there's a lot, and that's bad because we don't learn. And because we don't learn, we start giving people all these illustrious titles, and everybody's a sheikh now. And then when a real sheikh comes who's going to teach us, we think that he's nobody because we've been calling everybody else a sheikh. So we need to work on that stuff. Follow a madhab. Follow one, learn one. Learn the beginner books, learn the intermediate books, and learn the advanced books, and then work on the level of scholarship because we need it in our communities. But it's a step. Don't go reading the books that are for advanced people and you ain't even learned the mukhtasarat. You don't learn summarized books. You learn those summarized books first, then you learn the medium books, then you learn those advanced books. And I told you, our teachers told us each book you should study it a minimum of 3 times. The first time, just having the text read. The second time with an explanation. The third time with detailed evidences and proofs and conditions and exceptions. You need to start learning how to be a person of Ahl Sunnah. That's in fiqh. And ihsan is the science of at-tasawwuf. The science of at-tasawwuf. And the science of at-tasawwuf is cleaning up our hearts. And we got a lot, all of us, especially me. We got a lot of things to do with cleaning up our hearts. And I'm the first of you whose heart is the filthiest. So I know we need it. One F, take one of those F's off. Inshallah, please. So for us in Tasawwuf, we got to work on removing the blameworthy characteristics that we have, that the sacred law says are blameworthy, and adorn them with praiseworthy characteristics. And eventually, when you know your religion, you learn your fard ayn, I suggest to you to find a sheikh and murshid, a sheikh who is a spiritual guide. And I'm not going to get in who's the guide and who's that. You need someone, when you learn and you run into that sheikh, you'll know who he is. I ain't getting into fake sheikhs and all that. Look, if you learn your religion, you don't got to worry about a fake sheikh. Because the scale to weigh that sheikh is the sacred law. But if you don't know the sacred law, you can't weigh him anyway. So don't make a difference. Learn your religion. If you learn what is proper in Aqidah, you learn all the abwab of al-fiqh, all of the chapters of fiqh, even in a summarized way, and you learn the halal and the haram. When you see the sheikh, you will know if he's on the straight path or he's misguided. That's it. But you gotta learn first. This idea of being goofy Sufi, I want to be dhikr and I want to be spiritual, but I don't know nothing about the religion. All of the sheikhs of Islam have blamed that. None of the Sufis accept that. And if you got a sheikh who lets you not even know your obligations, but you his student, that guy is misguiding you. And I know a lot of people talking about my sheikh and don't even know how to make tahara. Don't even know how to purify themselves. Talking about my sheikh. Your sheikh need to tell you to learn the religion. You don't even know ahkam as-salat. How are you talking about a sheikh? That sheikh is shaitan. Doesn't teach you the religion. As Junaid al-Baghdadi said, this path of ours is confined by the Quran and the Sunnah. It is restricted by the book and the Sunnah. And if that person is not following the way of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, I don't care if he walk on water, fly in the air, have distance folded for him instantaneously, he is not to be followed in this path, period. He is under the sacred law of Sayyidina Muhammad like everybody else. That's the scale. His sign of being a spiritual guide is his istiqamah on the deen, his steadfastness and rectitude on the straight path. That's the sheikh who is a murshid. Other than that, he's a false person making claims. And that's not for me. Read the books of Tasawwuf. They all tell you. Read the early books of Tasawwuf. Read Qut al-Qulub. Read Awarif al-Ma'arif. Read Ihya Ulumuddin. Read Risalat al-Kushayriyah. And read all of the books. Read the works of Sidi Ahmed Zarruq. You read all of the books of the people of Ahl Sunnah. Read the books of Imam al-Haddad. Ain't none of them say you can be ignorant following the spiritual path. You must learn the religion. This is the rules. Read all the books. But most of us don't even know the books of Tasawwuf. Because we default Wahhabi. So the Wahhabis told us don't follow Sufism. That's bid'ah. And all of our scholars in the history of Islam were Sufis. So we gotta go through that. So at least if you got that, you will get the point. Tomorrow morning, our teacher, inshallah, from 6 to 6:45. Those who want to join and benefit. It's going to be easy, relax. Don't feel intimidated. He made it a point to tell me, make sure they understand it's not going to be over their head. It's not going to be so hard. We just want to put the knowledge so they can learn. And then as they learn, they'll get more advanced. So don't be intimidated. Don't think they're going to be with you talking about learn 20 books of hadith. That was a shot at me. Don't worry, I'll take it. Could you put the hadith books up, please? So here are those 20 books of hadith we talked about. They're up there now. They're on the screen. Remember we talking about all those 20 books of hadith? So we got Sahih al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Sunan Abi Dawood, Sunan al-Tirmidhi, Sunan Ibn Majah, Sunan al-Nasa'i. Go ahead. Al-Muwatta of Imam Malik ibn Anas, Musnad of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Sahih ibn Hibban, Sahih ibn Khuzaymah, Al-Mustadrak ala Sahihain lil-Hakim, or Imam al-Hakim, Sunan al-Darimi, Sunan al-Daraqutni, Sunan al-Kubra lil-Bayhaqi. Sunan al-Kubra is the book, al-Bayhaqi is the author. Wow, that's not Ma'arifa. You take that A out, but don't worry about it. Just tell the people they can do it. Ma'arifa, the second A comes out. Ma'arifa as-Sunan wal-Athar. Ma'arifa as-Sunan wal-Athar. That's by al-Bayhaqi. Sunan as-Saghir, Sunan as-Sugra. Some wrote Saghir, alhamdulillah. Sunan as-Sugra. And some on covers of books, they say Sunan as-Saghir. But alhamdulillah. That's by al-Bayhaqi. So those last three books, as-Sunan al-Kubra, Ma'rifat al-Sunan wal-Athar, Sunan al-Sugra, Sunan al-Saghir, is written by al-Bayhaqi. Al-Mu'jam al-Kabir, Al-Mu'jam al-Awsat, and Al-Mu'jam al-Sugra, Mu'jam al-Saghir, not Sugra. Allah. Mu'jam al-Saghir. We'll fix them and put them back up tomorrow. Mu'jam al-Saghir is by At-Tabarani. All those three books, those Al-Ma'ajim al-Thalatha, they're by At-Tabarani. And the last one, Al-Musannaf of Ibn Abi Shayba. So those are the 20 we mentioned. Try to memorize all those books. They're important in your further studies. Not now, but when we're talking about proofs and we're talking about knowledge of hadith and evidences, you need to know all that stuff. Very important. Tell you with that, if there's any questions, let me look back because I didn't even see if there were questions. Be patient with me. I'm a little uppity right now, so be patient. I'm sick and tired of us being hoodwinked. You know what you do? If you know Sunnis, scholars, you know they have this methodology. Everybody ain't going to be like me. And I'm a different type of spirit. And I'm not saying my spirit is the right one. But what I do know, we need to get this message out. However you do it. If you do it in your humble way, your academic way, your intellectual way, your Sufi spiritual way, I don't care how you do it. Would you please just tell the people the truth? Right? And maybe if you tell the truth, it'll soften my approach. Because if you know what I'm saying. You might not like the way I say it, but you know exactly what I'm saying. Could you please help? Could you please be a little more explicit, but a little more, I know, be humble, be spiritual, be intellectual, but please tell a story. It helps. It will help us. Okay, quickly, let me just take a few questions. Allah. Allah. Okay, so to be clear, do we consider the Wahhabi as a kafir? So if we are on our Hassan al-Basri, we should consider each one we meet as a better Muslim than us unless they speak clear kufr. Let me explain something to you. The base is anyone who says, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, sallallahu alayhi wasallam is a Muslim. So let's get that clear. Only way you consider someone as a kafir if they do something that contradicts something that is necessarily known of the religion, that is, reached us by a continuous, unbroken, multiple chains of transmission, which is called mutawatir, and is an issue of consensus. Other than that, we don't make takfir on no one. So we don't come to a person just because he's a Wahhabi and say you're a kafir. Because, as I told you, most people we meet are default Wahhabis. They don't even know they're Wahhabis. So don't say that. And most people, they haven't had a chance to learn their religion properly. So even they may have misunderstandings of the deen, they need to be taught. But if they have a misunderstanding that reaches the level of kufr, then we teach them and they have to take their testification of faith. They have to become a Muslim because it's kufr. So what you have to learn is what things take a person out of Islam before you judge someone as a kafir. Is the thing that they believe reach the level of kufr? Is the thing that they're doing reach the level of kufr? Is the thing that they're saying reach the level of kufr? If it does, by the rules of the religion, then he's a kafir or she's a kafir. But if it doesn't, you don't rush to just judge people as kafir because of name calling. You're a Wahhabi, you're a Salafi, so you're a kafir. Nah, who says that? You judge each, you don't make blanket takfir of anyone. You can't say, you in this group, you a kafir. I don't know what you believe. I got to deal with you. Maybe you just like their political ideas. Maybe you just like the clothes. And that's why you follow them. You don't even know what they believe, which is the case of most of our people that are Wahhabi. They don't know nothing about that stuff. So don't make takfir on people unless you know for sure the issue they're saying is kufr. And be careful. Don't rush. Ask. See if there's exceptions. See if don't just rush to make takfir of people. Don't do that. Please don't make that mistake. Now, I hope that's clear because some people think I just make takfir on somebody. Oh, he considers all Salafis kafir. Whoever said that is a liar. They don't know me. What I do consider kufr is to ascribe to Allah bodily parts. That's kufr by consensus. You think Allah is a body sitting with limbs and organs? That's kufr. Yes, I said it. Now, if you don't, and you just have a misunderstanding of Allah's attributes, and you don't know how to explain words like al-yad and ayn and nuzul and istiwa, I'm not going to consider you a kafir. You may be mistaken, but I didn't call you a kafir. But if you think Allah is a body sitting in heaven and with hands and feet and eyes and a face, you are a kafir. No doubt about it. But if you just misunderstand and you don't know how to explain, I don't consider you a kafir. But make it known. If you think Allah is a body, jismun, qa'idun, fawqa al-ars, lahu a'dha, he has limbs, you are a kafir. Yes. I didn't stutter. By consensus, by ijma of this nation, you are a kafir. So if you're not saying that, it don't apply. So don't lie on me. Don't make stories. I didn't say that. Okay. Oh, okay, because that's it. I think we got all the questions. There was only one. Hey, please, though, seriously, for all of us, I need you to understand well what I'm getting at. I'm not a racist. I don't think all Wahhabis and Salafis are automatically kafir, right? I want us to learn Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah for the sake of Allah so we can make it to Jannah and get the pleasure of Allah. Please understand me. My biggest thing is for us to learn the religion. And we just got to overcome all this stuff because there are pitfalls and roadblocks from us learning. So don't misunderstand at all. Please don't misunderstand me. And I know a lot of people, because of the way I'm talking, they're used to me being more laid back. But we got to change this situation. So we can't just keep being laid back. Okay. Another question. How will those who work unable to attend get the info? Is there alternatives? Just asking for clarity. We're gonna be having more classes, so there'll be other opportunities. We just got to start slow because we're all so busy as well. And I'm working with Ummah, with the other imams. We're trying to have classes on the Ummah page. We're still working but getting teachers to dedicate to teaching for our people in our way that we understand is hard. I could get a bunch of teachers, but they're not gonna be your people, and they're not gonna teach at the level that all of us need to understand. So we need our people to do it. It's important to have Black Americans teachers. It's also a mental and cultural thing that we need to do. We can't keep putting others in front of us because it don't help us in our self-esteem and we start thinking the white man's ice is colder. So we gotta be careful with that. That's just my opinion. That's how I feel about it. We need our own teachers, like everybody else got their own teachers. That doesn't mean we can't learn from nobody else, but in front of our people, we need our teachers. We need people to help raise our self-esteem, our love for our people, because that was taken from us, and we gotta replace it. Allah, Allah. I'm not going to address that Arabic thing because that's a whole nother discussion, and y'all got the point. It's a waste of time. I think I'm done. Relearning how to understand our deen and practice our deen by learning anew without reviewing the new knowledge through the old corrupt knowledge is very difficult. That's not what I learned. I don't quite understand that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not following that question, which is, I know it sounds like a statement, but uh, uh, Abu Muhammad Bakr, relearning how to understand our deen and practice our deen uh, by learning anew without reviewing the new knowledge through the old corrupt knowledge is very difficult. That's not what I learned. I don't really understand what that means. I'm sorry. Uh, but maybe one needs to compare. I think that's a one way to benefit. So, okay. I got it? Huh? Oh, yeah. Okay. Did I miss something? I'm sorry. It's a question. I saw I zoomed past some questions. I'm sorry. I got to go back. Uh, I'm sorry. I went way past. Wait a minute. Oh, that's the next question? Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. The next question. Can you go down before me and get all those questions after I finish each one? Can you give a quick advice about getting over the downs of the ups and downs and reach istiqamah? Istiqamah is given, is achieved by practicing with sincerity. Learning first, because you cannot practice without learning. You have to learn the rules of the religion. And the religion does have rules. That's why you learn Aqidah, you learn Al-Fiqh. And then when you practice it sincerely to Allah, it will lead to istiqamah, right? That's what the man came to the Prophet ﷺ and asked for advice. The Prophet said, say, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I believe in Allah, then remain steadfast. Al-Habib Abdullah bin Hussein, he said that it is obligatory on the mukallaf to embrace the beliefs in Islam, remain steadfast to it, and comply with its rules, right? That's how you get al-istiqamah. If someone reads history on any particular subject, and the Ash'ari Maturidi school teaches the history in one direction, and the one researcher reads an alternative history, reads something different, how do they find the truth of the subject, other than the claim of Senate? Our Islamic knowledge is through Senate. So even if you want to trace knowledge, you should trace it through a Senate. That's how you're going to know that that knowledge is something that was accepted by the Ummah or rejected by the Ummah. Because anyone can write history, and if we look at America, the Caucasians who killed the Indians and enslaved the black people, they rewrote history, right? So if you read our history books, we was apes running around, we was apes and running around the jungles in Africa swinging with monkeys, and Tarzan came and saved us. I mean, you know, we were cannibals, and you know what I mean? We know that's not real. The Indians were wild and didn't have no culture, so we had to come tame them and kill them. Christopher Columbus discovered America. That ain't no standard for that. That's a lie, right? But when we start studying real history with Asani, with real history, then we'll know this stuff not true. So alternative history is when it's not thorough research. So it's not thorough research. If we do thorough research with chains of transmission from generation to generation to generation, we'll discover that these things, what is true and what is false. That's how it's easy for me to say what I'm saying about the Ash'aris and Maturidis and Sufis through Asanid. I challenge anyone on that subject. Now, you may say all the people were misguided and we right, that's another discussion. But to say that this is an unbroken connection of Islam and this is how the Muslims understood Islam, that's a lie. Historically, that's a lie. But now, if you say all the Muslims were wrong, like Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahab said, most of the Muslims on the earth, the Hanafis, the Malikis, the Shafis, the Hanbalis, all of them are mushrikun, idol worshippers, misguided people that worship graves and are misguided in kufar, and let's kill them. That's what he said. Okay. Now, that don't mean he's right, but don't tell me that's what the Muslims said before him. That was his innovation. And you can't make that right. That's what he did. He considered all the Muslims kufar. Hanafi, Shafi, Maliki, Hanbali, Ash'ari, Maturidi, Sufi, Kuffar, Mushrikun. That's what he called them. Now I know today he became Sheikh al-Islam, but in his time he wasn't no Sheikh al-Islam. He was Taghut. He was Amir Jaysh al-Iblis. That's what they called him. Al-Khabith. That's what the terms the scholars used for him in his time. But today, Sheikh al-Islam. Okay. Now you judge history. If Sheikh al-Islam consider all the Muslims kafirs and butcher them and take their blood and kill them, and shed their blood and take their property, and that's Sheikh al-Islam, okay, that's Sheikh al-Islam to you, that's Sheikh al-Islam. But the Ummah don't accept that. There's nothing wrong with that, following one madhab and studying another one. Just don't mix them in a way that your acts of worship are invalid. It's valid. You can do it. There's nothing wrong with that. But just don't mix in a way that your act of worship becomes invalid by all the schools. I have a book, Al-Maqasid by Imam Nawawi. Is that a good beginner book in the Shafi'i school? Yes. And we were teaching that book on the Ummah page. And inshallah, once we get the schedule, we're going to go back to continuing teaching the book Al-Maqasid. It is a book I recommend that all of you get because it's available in English as a beginner book. Imam al-Ghazali, he said, do you consider tasawwuf fard ayn on the individual? Imam al-Ghazali said that tasawwuf is fard, and what he meant by that is removing al-muhlikat, removing those ruinous characteristics and replacing them with al-munjiyat, which is those saving characteristics. So in that sense, it's fard ayn. Taking a sheikh and a tariqah is not fard ayn. Is Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn al-Qayyim, right? Ibn al-Qayyim, Ibn al-Qayyim, right? Are they Wahhabi? That's historically invalid question. Why do I say it's a historically invalid question? And this is my point about history. So don't take it personal. It's just I'm sharing something so we all can benefit. Ibn Taymiyyah, he died in the year 728 after Hijrah. Ibn Qayyim al-Jawzi, Ibn Qayyim, he died around 761, a little after Ibn Taymiyyah, somewhere around there. They both died in the 8th century Hijrah. Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, he died in the 14th century Hijrah. So he is 600 years after them. Wahhabi comes from the followers of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. Ibn Taymiyyah and them were way before him. So no way would Ibn Taymiyyah or Ibn al-Qayyim be followers of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. Historically, that is impossible. So the Wahhabis, among them their leader, Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, they took some of their ideas, not all of them, some of their ideas, most of theirs in Aqidah, from Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn al-Qayyim. But the Wahhabis, they have other innovations that Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn al-Qayyim didn't have. So they added on the misguidances of Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn al-Qayyim. So there is a 600-year difference between the Wahhabi movement and Ibn Qayyim and Ibn Taymiyyah. Ibn al-Qayyim was the student of Ibn Taymiyyah. And Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Qayyim, both in their time, were considered misguided in tenets of faith. Go ahead. These are issues of scholarship, Jarh wa Ta'dil, and Hadith, that question. That's a little bit too advanced for what we're talking about, and it's not synonymous because these are totally different issues. That's a whole different subject. That science of hadith subject has nothing to do with what we're talking about. It's not, the two issues are not compatible. You can't do issues that deal with specifically Aqidah and deal with issues of scholarly difference in areas of Jarh wa Ta'dil. There's two different things. That's a false, equation. You can't put them together. They're two different sciences. That's it. Is that good? We finished? Yes, I think that's it. Those who keep calling me, you got to send me messages, and I might not be able to answer you right away. So send me a message as soon as I can. But if you're sending me thing that's going to distract me from my work, I'm not going to be able to answer. I just don't have time to take every individual and answer every single question, and I'm not a mufti. So I'll try to get back with you, but be patient. Understand that there's a lot of people that send stuff, and I can't answer everybody. And sometimes you send questions that are not on what we're talking about, and those questions involve research that I don't have time to do. So be patient with me in that. طيب وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Inshallah, if there's questions, we'll come back and get them tomorrow. Please be patient with me. Overlook my shortcomings. I have a lot of them. But try to get the objective. Please don't forget the objective. Don't concentrate so much on how I'm saying things. And inshallah, I'll try to be more sympathetic to people's emotions and feelings. But get the point I'm driving at. The point, we're doing this for the sake of Allah, and I want us to be on the true path of Islam, which is the path of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. Right? And I want to clarify that from all these innovations that keep our people ignorant for generation after generation after generation. That's my objective. I don't have another objective. I don't want to be famous. I don't want any of that. I just want us to be on the truth. And if someone else do it, it's better. But it ain't enough of us doing the job. We need more people. We need more people to learn the religion and convey it. Because we up against a lot. And we got a lot of, not just in Islam, we still got to learn our deen, and then we got to go save our people. And while we playing around in the deen and getting misguided in the deen, our people are getting decimated. It's supposed to be Muslims on the front line of the social justice struggle. Muslims should be doing that. Should be at the front leading it. But we still trying to get our deen together. I sat in meetings with leaders of the black community. They don't know what to do. They need us bad. They need Muslim leadership. So we gotta get ourselves together. We have to. We got work to do, and we don't got a lot of time. We're gonna be gone, and we can't let the next generation that comes after us curse us for not doing our jobs. Nobody did nothing for me. A lot of young people feel that way. A lot of these young African American kids, they feel like nobody did anything for them and nobody was there for them. And in a way, they right, because I remember saying the same thing when I was a teenager. So we got to break that off. We got to stop. We got to change the culture. I remember that feeling. That's what made me such a rebel when I was a kid. I felt nobody was there for me to help me and teach me, because I was living in the projects and struggling, and everybody around me struggling. And we became angry, bad black kids and violent. So I know the feeling. And they're the same way. That's why they tearing stuff up. That's why they're killing each other in the streets. We got to go help that. Instead of acting like we from Pakistan or Yemen or Bangladesh or Africa, we need to go help them young boys in the hood. We got work to do, a lot. So inshallah, may Allah help us. Astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh. ربنا أتمم لنا نورنا واغفر لنا إنك على كل شيء قدير وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم بارك الله فيكم وجزاكم الله خيرا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله